Well, today we're doing something that I've never done before, mostly because I've never had to do it before. I'm gonna roll some bean ground. I'm gonna use a color mulcher with the tines up because that's all I got. Rolling bean ground is actually kind of a common thing. You get out in central Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, out in there, and then you come up here and nobody does it, and I don't know the reason why. It's something that I've always been gonna experiment with, and there are a couple coming up. Not a lot, but there's a couple. Anyway, it's been something I've always been gonna experiment with, just never had the time. And normally you roll bean ground when the beans are like, now I think the common go point is like V1. And normally when guys roll beans, they actually use field rollers, which are lawn rollers on steroids, anywhere between like 20 and 50 feet. And they're like, you know, big smooth drums. They're a lawn roller on steroids. They're not something like this, but this is what I got to work with. And the theory is you let them get up yay tall, you roll them, it puts the bean into aw shit mode. It forces it to branch more, and the more branches it puts on, the more nodes you're gonna have. The more nodes you have, the more pods it's gonna put on. The more pods it puts on, the more beans you got. That's the theory. And it's always been something I was gonna experiment with. When I had beans around mom and dad's house, I was always gonna take a lawn roller on the back of the cub and mark out an acre or 2 acres, one right next to each other, and compare a rolling acre and then not rolling acre, and compare the two and see, you know, watch them through the season and see what the difference is. It's just nothing I've ever had time to do. But that's not why we're doing this today. Today we're doing this because we need to get this ground packed down better and sealed up, so that if by some miracle Mother Nature decides to actually bless us with some rain, the ground's not so airy and it's actually packed down and it won't dry out as fast. So, and that's why we're doing this today. The last couple days since I got back to work after the holiday, I've been working on soil sampling some ground for a dairy farm, and been soil sampling some of their corn ground that's been planted, and it's kind of ugly. In the same field, in 30 feet a row, you can go on corn that's anywhere from V2 growth stage all the way down to hasn't even germinated yet, in, like I say, 30 feet or less a row. It's just the luck of the draw as to there was just enough moisture right here, and then you go right here and there wasn't anything. And they were trying to no-till some corn into some alfalfa, or some retired alfalfa ground today. Actually, he said they tried last night and they couldn't even get the planter to go in the ground. It's so hard and dry. So today they got a Kraus accelerator. They were running over it in hopes to get it busted up, or get the top busted up enough to actually get the planter to put the seed in the ground. And I'm guessing when I left, he was out there planting. I'm guessing he was still struggling because he was going really slow. I'm guessing so to give the planter, or actually give the planter time to stay in the ground rather than riding up on it. Because I mean, he was probably only planting maybe 3 miles an hour, and it's a newer Kinsey lifting pivot, so he's easily capable of planting 5.5, 6. I didn't stop to talk to him after I left because he was busy, I was busy, but it's not good. It's gonna be interesting. Something's got to give, right? Oop, whoops. It looked, where'd that go? It looked like at least parts of northern Illinois around Chicago were getting rain today. Looked like. Don't know if they actually did or not. Sometimes the radar lies. If they did, good for them. Send some our way. So, but because obviously we got the ripple effect going on with these rollers, I'm gonna run this at not a very steep angle, but just a slight angle to what I planted it at. That way we don't have one of these things ending up on a row and pushing a single row in too far. So that's the plan. I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong, but I guess it'll make me feel a little bit better, so I guess that counts for something, right? off here and check our handiwork. If nothing else, that makes and when we get over on this other field, I'll make a couple passes up the center and get off so you can actually see a contrast, but it makes a huge damn difference in the texture of the field. huge. Like, you get off of, you're running your pass and you make a turn and get off into a spot where you've been over. It's like driving on an airport runway, just smooth. Now I know why guys do it, because, and they say it makes cutting beans a whole lot easier. I mean, hopefully it helps beans come up, but I got a feeling I should have started doing this years ago, just from what I've seen here. I mean, it's nice. And we might have covered some up just a little bit, but they'll push back through. But didn't hurt any beans. They're still there chilling. Like I say, the color mulcher with the ribs probably is not necessarily the best tool for doing this, but we're not pulling them out of the ground and we're not breaking them off. That's all that matters. So hopefully I'm not doing more harm than good. Time will tell. Okay, after the damn dust clears, so you can see if the dust clears. Come on, go away. It is right, I mean, you can see the line. It is a huge difference between here and here as far as the texture. Like, I think I might start doing this every year. Obviously won't wait so long and let the beans get sprouted, but I mean, this is something I try not to have Dad too much ground working anymore, because he won't admit it, but he's got fucking back problems pretty bad. So he doesn't need to be working ground much anymore. But I mean, this is something, it's easy riding. I'm running 5th gear over about 2,000 RPM, just cruising. I mean, you're scooting along, but you're not really, I mean, it ain't like you're beating the crap out of yourself for the tractor. I mean, I could throw Dad on that thing, and as long as, I mean, if the ground is wet, I wouldn't do it, but if the ground's dry on top, have Dad following me pretty close behind the drill with that thing, because I don't think you'd get the same effect if I pull the pack. Well, I go to a bigger drill, you're not gonna find a packer big enough to put behind it anyhow, but I don't think you'd have the same effect pulling a packer behind a drill, because the packer's not gonna weigh as much, and you're only going to have one row, where that color mulcher weighs a crap ton and you got 2 rows of packers. But I bet that this just makes cutting beans a joy. I hope we got beans to cut, but I'm kind of glad I decided to do this, because it makes me feel better, I'll tell you that. Done. The only thing I didn't go over was this muck right down here. I did the sand hill in the long field in front. I did not do the little one up in the corner, and then I did not do the field on the new field on the other side of the fence row, because those are sandy, and since I did the sand on this side of the driveway, I wanted to leave the sand on that side of the driveway to compare the two. Plus that stuff was already in the ground plenty good and smooth and everything already, so didn't really need to waste time going over it. Just checking to make sure I'm not hurting anything, and as long as their backs aren't breaking, that's all that matters. They're all still in the ground, so but I got one more field I want to do. Hopefully I got enough fuel to do it. I gotta find a stick and check my tank. I have a hard time believing that I used the fuel that my fuel gauge says I used for all the harder I'm working that tractor, so I gotta find me a stick. In case it stops before I'm done out here and I don't get to end it in the video, it is raining. It ain't even gonna knock the dust down. Mother Nature just being a teasing bitch, but it is raining. Apparently Illinois and Iowa took all of it from us. Well, if nothing else, it makes the ground look a heck of a lot better. That's basically all I can do with it. Nothing I can do from here. It's literally out of my hands. But before we sign off here, we're gonna walk around the corner because there's something sitting here I think my case guys will like. And I don't mind walking over here and looking at it because I'm friends with the people that own it. So give me a minute. It's not that long of a walk. Well, I can hear thunder. It ain't raining, but I can hear thunder. Shut up, nobody's scared of you. We've seen that Challenger before. Probably a couple years ago now. Might even been 3 years ago now. But we've seen that Challenger before. But this is the one that I think the case guys will be interested in. You don't see too many of these. Unfortunately, she is not a legit red body. She's been repainted, but it did start out life orange and white. To tell you the truth, I can't even remember the model number on it. The decals are gone. I don't even know where to begin looking for the serial tag, so I can tell you. A case guy probably know just by looking at it. You can see the traces of the red in there. I can't remember the story on it, if they bought it new or if they bought it used and the dealer repainted it. If Sarah was still here working ground, she'd probably be able to tell you, but she left not too long ago. If I was a serial number plate on a crab steer case, where would I be hiding? Is that it right there, or is that the transmission tag? Nope, that's just for the transmission. That doesn't do me any good. Anybody that knows their cases could probably walk right up and, but this is probably, I think the only other crab steer in this remote vicinity is I know where there's a 1200. But I don't think there's I can't think of any other ones floating around. So anyway, I knew this was sitting here, so I figured I'd walk over and show it to you. I'm a little disappointed I can't find the serial number tag. You think it wouldn't be that hard to find. Or it very well could have got painted over when the tractor got painted. You never know. Normally that's something they'd stick right on the main frame somewhere. But I'm sure somebody in the comment section will know what it is, that knows their cases better than I do. But anyhow, I guess I'm gonna get home and get things put away, and I'm still waiting on my damn landlord to get back with me on making that food plot. I told him I want to get it out of the way because I need to get the planter and everything cleaned up and put away, and I want to move on to making hay. And I want to say I want to start worrying about spraying, but on one hand I need to start spraying, although I don't really have a whole lot of ground that is in need of spraying right yet. Basically it's just the cornfield behind mom and dad's where there's that wheat still coming up that needs done. But part of me wants to get on spraying, and part of me is like, well, do we even bother wasting the money on it until we know for sure that we're going to get some rain, and we're not just going to be throwing money away on spray to turn around and have the crop die and have to plow it all under anyhow. So I don't know. Like this storm that just passed over. Watch it coming on the radar, coming up to the lake. It's building, it's building, it's building. It hits the tip of the lake and poof, scatters. So anyhow, I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.